Hey, what's going on there, people? It's Jay the Guitar Historian here today. So this is my Epiphone Les Paul Traditional Pro 3 that debuted in a couple of videos that I made a few months back. We're going to turn this into a super Epiphone, and I'm going to go with you step by step. The first thing that we're going to upgrade on this guitar are going to be the tuners. The tuners that came on this guitar are just kind of like stock Epiphone, whatever I had laying around type of tuners. Nowadays, all the inspired by Gibson Epiphones are coming with Cluson tuners. Instead of going with another type of tuner that's kind of similar to these, I decided to kind of go all out and do the Steinberger gearless tuners. Now, if you've never seen these things, they're really weird at first when you first look at them on the headstock, because these pegs on the side, the tuning pegs, do not, or the tuning keys, I should say, they're not there. The Steinberger headless tuner just goes straight through the headstock. The string goes into it, and there's a cap on the top that you screw in, and it holds the string down, and you actually tune it from the back. Second thing we're going to upgrade is not too crazy, but we're going to be putting a Graphtec nut on there. Another thing that now comes standard on Epiphones is the Graphtec nut. So that's wonderful. I basically got this guitar right before they changed over to all these more like fancy dancy things. But the one thing that hasn't changed with Epiphone is the pickups. So the pickups on Epiphones are always going to be, I don't want to call them trash. They do the job. The pickups are the voice of the guitar. So I actually have an acquaintance on Facebook that I met through somebody else. He actually makes pickups. He's out in the Seattle area. His name is Wolf McLeod, and he actually runs Wolf Tone pickups, and they have a lot of followers. They have a lot of people that use their pickups. He's quite successful out there. It just needs a little bit of loving to get the electronics up where they need to be, and that's what we're going to do. So putting a quick capper on this whole thing. I do have to say that the build went... My pick fell. The build went very well. Believe it or not. I thought that it was a lot of fun. And there were some issues. There were some times where I wanted to beat myself over the head with a hammer. But for the most part, it came out the way I wanted it to come out. The end result was where I wanted it to be. And as you can probably hear from watching the previous video, it sounds great. But just really quickly, I want to show you everything that I did to the guitar from top to bottom. So there's our weird ass headstock now with the Steinberger gearless tuners. And I will say this, okay? For as weird as this looks, these things are friggin' awesome. These, the Wolf Tone pickups sound amazing. I'm not going to sell them short. But these things are almost like a life changer. Because I really couldn't get a good video of it, but the string changes are absolutely phenomenal. But the strings, when I put them on for the first time with these things, it was like, where have you been all my life? So these things are really awesome, even though they look very wonky, because, you know, you're just used to the Les Paul and like having the tuning keys there. But there are so many reasons why the tuning keys coming out of the side are just bad design. Because think about how many times you've been tuning and you accidentally kick over the other string, and then you got to go back to the other string, and you got to retune it because you accidentally knocked it out of place. These are just so much better. They're so much more streamlined, and they work amazing. End of story. The Graphtec nut went in with no problems whatsoever. It's actually made for the Epiphones, so it fit in perfectly. No sanding was needed. I feel like the guitar intonates so much better, and you get so much more sustain, even when it's not plugged in. And I don't feel like the guitar really sustained like that and sounded so bell-like until I put the nut on. And then finally, the last but not least, the Wolf Tone pickups. I have a Dr. Vintage in the neck, and I have a Marshall head in the bridge. And these things are unbelievable. The amount of just character that they have over the previous pair of pickups that were in here is just mind-blowing. And it's amazing how much just better pickups will change a guitar's entire personality. You know, the Epiphone has been born. I've talked about it, and I hope that I didn't mess it up to the point where, you know, I was gonna actually make it happen. And I actually made it happen. But everything came together. The Skriniar engineering, quick connect adapters, they were a little bit of a pain because they were so small to work with, but at the end of the day, they worked exactly as advertised. Was able to connect it right into the quick connect, no problems. Pickups work like a charm. So everything came together on this build. Everything. I even was able to lower the action a little bit on the high bass strings, and everything just sounds amazing now. It's just, the guitar is, it's everything I ever wanted. So the Epiphone is here. Say hello to the Epiphone. She exists, and she's spectacular.